The 19th of August 2024, electricity price. Now, I want to deal with an article in the Irish Independent online, and I want to give you my angle on it from the knowledge I have accumulated, and I want you to judge for yourself. I believe what you're seeing here is spin doctoring and propaganda of the highest order with the connivance of the media as well. Now, the article says that, there you are, it says here, it's today, the 19th of August. Wind energy companies blame regulator for rising prices as new figures show bumper profits. Wind energy companies blame regulator for rising prices as new figures show bumper profits. Do you ever hear blame somebody else, BSE? So there's a picture here of a windmill out in the sea, and it says the PSO levy guarantees the price renewable energy generators get for the electricity they produce. Now that is a half lie. And by telling two half lies, you tell one whole lie and one whole truth. Now that's what they're saying. Now this is by Charlie Wesson, a woke, totally green correspondent, and he wrote this and posted at 2:30 a.m. this morning. Now let me explain to you about the PSO levy. The way the regime for wind energy and renewable energy is calculated is a base price. It was about 69 for years there before the inflation chopped in. It's more now. It was, and added to that was 7. One was a support for renewable energy. One was for the difficulty of incorporating it on the grid. Now remember, the wind companies have no problem. They just horse it into the grid. It's the grid that has to deal with all the complexities of it, how to handle it. So that's a fake subsidy. But the total that time was 76. Now keep them up to speed with it. It's probably maybe 84 or 5. But please understand, that's the first thing. The PSO levy has nothing at all to do with the price of the electricity, but they do give them a lump sum if they're in trouble, and they're putting a levy on it. I made a video before on that, which I think amounts to 40 million over the whole country. I'm not sure, but it doesn't matter. They're giving them a bailout, and they bailed out the John Lang wind farm in Glencarbury and Tipperary out of the PSO levy, which is illegal. That's not provided for in the legislation. And then John Lang couldn't make money, and he sold it on to Green Coat Renewables. So there's all types of sweetheart deals going on. But please understand, the PSO levy is the difference between the set price, which used to be 69.5, and about 7% more that brings it up to 76. Okay, that may be adjusted recently. So that's the only input the PSO levy has. It's a bit extra on that. Okay, and that PSO levy is levied on your bill, so there is no difference in paying directly for the electricity per unit and paying it through the PSO levy. It's the consumer pays all. So that is the first half lie. Now, it says here, wind energy generators have blamed the regulator for a hike in the levy on domestic electricity bills, claiming it's got its figures wrong. And this is from a crowd that refused to accept that if you had 60,000 billion industrial wind turbines in Ireland, you couldn't use any of it if there wasn't 36% of the grid already fossil fuel generated. You couldn't use any of it of a calm day, and on a windy day you could only use about 3% of it. They refuse to acknowledge that. The Irish Independent refuses to acknowledge that. That's the fact. So if you want to post here under, folks, do you accept that if you have all the wind farms in the world anywhere, you can't do any generating on a calm day? Do you accept that if you have all the wind farms in the world and there comes a windy day, you can only use the portion that will keep about 60% of it wind? There still has to be 36% of the grid fossil fuel for frequency stability. No fossil fuel electricity. There can be no wind and no solar. It's not synchronous. Please post if you agree, if you don't agree. These are the facts. I'll bet heavily on this. This is the facts. So this is the baloney they're telling the people. Consumers are facing higher electricity bills from October after the energy regulator confirmed it is to hike a levy on the bills. So why is a levy needed? I thought wind energy was going to bring down the price of electricity. It was clean, it was free, you had to give them a little bit to generate it, but they had no fuel costs. Wasn't that what we were told? They never told us that up to 20% of the capacity of a wind farm is used fossil fuel electricity. They won't operate without fossil fuel electricity. They use 10 to 20%. And as they only generate 20%, that means they use as much as they generate. And what they generate is of little use because you have to keep the fossil fuel generators running anyway. Okay, so that's the reality. You see the way all this baloney. The so-called Public Service Obligation Levy is in place to subsidise the generation of electricity from sustainable sources such as wind farms and solar panels operations. Now, why is it needed? Aren't they paid by the amount they produce? Aren't they supposed to be powering 50 million homes? 40,000 homes in every county. You see the lie that is being told. It will be £40 per year household per annum. Sorry, I couldn't remember exactly how much it was. So it's €40 per year. Okay? Right? This is on top of what they get paid. This is in contrast to this year when the levy on electricity bills was set at zero. So I think what they mean here that this year it's zero, the levy is zero, and then next year it's going to be 40 per annum. I think that's what it is. Wait now, see now. Renewable energy generators made bumper profits in 2022. And that is a lie, Charlie. And that is a lie. I have checked their accounts of 40 of them. I could check 40 more. Every one of them have audit accounts saying that were it not for a beneficial parent company, they would be gone. We're not sure how Greencoat Renewables is able to keep going, but we do know that the ESB is carrying several of them on the book. They buy the wind farm of the company, they let the company run it, they never collect the capital cost. They only collect the interest. That is the reality. National toll roads the same. They are not collecting the capital cost. It shows it on the books of their accounts. I have a degree in business studies concentrating on financial accounts. I got them all. I told you that. So you see the massive lie that's been told. They did not make renewable profits. That's a lie. In 2022. Let them sue me now and come on about it. Now, I have checked the accounts in 2019. So if they made these profits in 2022, where did they come out of? And why don't they pay their capital costs back to their parent company? Come on about it. The whole thing is one complete fictitious tissue of lies. Collectively, their profits jumped from 125 million in 2012 to 509 million in 2022. Well, how does it come that the year I selected to check their accounts showed 40 wind farms in Ireland and 2 in the UK, none of them paid their capital cost. None of them depreciate their assets. They depreciate the wind farm assets over maybe 25, 30 years, when in fact they degrade and they're gone and worthless after 20 years. And they don't include in the depreciation value the capital cost of taking them out of the ground, which the Planning Act says they must do. Do you see now what's been told here? What a whopper. What a whopper the Irish Independent is engaged in. After the spike in energy prices following the Russian invasion of the Ukraine, now this is not renewable energy prices, this is fossil fuel energy prices, according to information obtained by the Sunday Times, and this is written in the Irish Independent. So where did the Sunday Times get it? We now see this is not the Irish Independent information at all. They can get the accounts of the Company Act companies for $2.50 a pop. $2.50 a pop. And they're relying on the Sunday Times, and I don't believe that was ever in the Sunday Times. We used to buy the Sunday Times, don't get so off now, so I think somebody's making it up. A windfall on super profits was imposed by the government the following year. I've never seen it taken out. I've never seen it taken out at all. I believe that windfall was on the conventional generators, the ESB and all them. They're the ones that made the profit. It is not the wind energy. Now, just to go back, collectively, their profits jumped. So it's talking here about renewable energy generators. They must refer to the whole generating industry. The ESB, SSE, gas, coal, all. So I think what they're doing here is they're claiming the profits for the whole thing, because they say the profits went up following the Russian invasion of the Ukraine, and Russia or Ukraine does not provide wind or solar energy to Ireland. So you see the way this is couched and the lies that's been told. They'd walk. So that's the story. They're confusing and they're mixing the wind energy with the main power. Wind Energy Ireland claimed the levy was due to cost householders a combination of 17 million from October because the regulator, the Commission for Regulation of Utilities, overcharged electricity generators last year. You see, they know that the average Joe Soap won't do this. I met the energy regulator in 2014, two of his people, and wiped the floor in him. He had no answer, only his government policy. You want to hear the gibberish that we're talking. And there's a woman there in it, she Mulholly or something anyway, she refused a licence to a fossil fuel generator in Dublin, in Huntstown, and now they're installing diesel generators all over the country. I've discovered the one in Shannonbridge is using 56 articulated lorry loads of diesel every day, and some poster says there's one over in Ballina in Mayo and it's using the same lorries, and sure there must be one in Dublin. So you're talking about 356s, 350s, 150s, 18, 168 lorry load, articulated lorry load of diesel fuel every 3 days. That's what it is, 160. Double that then, sure, that's 200, that's 330 in 6 days. It's almost 400 articulated tanker loads per week of diesel oil. And this is to replace the fuel that they have put out of business. Can you make this stuff up? And then they have the gall to print this. I'll give it to you again here. Wind Energy Ireland claimed. Well, why does the Independent take their claims? They did not want to talk to me, and I'd soon tell them. The levy was due to cost householders a combined 17 million from October because the regulator, the Commission for the Regulation of Utilities, the CRU, overcharged electricity generators last year. So that it seems to say that this tax to put on them was too much. Well, what is their accounting system? Is there nobody who can do figures, add, subtract, multiply and divide? You see the mess, how lies they tell. The levy guarantees the price renewable energy generators get for electricity they produce. That is a lie. For years, especially since the price of electricity went to oil, coal and gas rose about 2017, the price of the wind farm gets the basic floor price off about 76 euros back then. It's a bit more now, right? The renewable, the oil generators, the fuel generators were a bit less, or about 57. When the oil price goes up, so I'll use this pencil here so you'll see the difference. When the oil price goes up, I wonder have a blue one there. Yeah, here's the renewables and here's the oil. So the renewables gets this price no matter what. When the oil price is lower, the renewables get this price. When the oil price goes up, the renewables don't stay there. They go up with it. So if the price of fuel electricity went up to 17 million per unit, the wind energy gets the same. In reality, it can go up to 300. It's there on the dashboard for EirGrid. They get a way up. They get the price of the highest fuel, because there's a thing called the market price, and the market price is determined by the highest fuel in the mix. Now read that now again, and what they're saying here. The levy guarantees the price renewable generators get for electricity they produce. It has nothing to do with the levy. The levy brings the basic floor price of 69.5 up a bit. It brings it up by about 7%, bringing it up to about 76 that time. So that's all the levy does. The levy brings it up, a bit of a top up. When it all comes out of the bill, the price for the wind energy, the basic price comes out of the bill, and the PSO levy comes out of the bill. So it's all fancy footwork. The price of these crowd get here, they get that levy, they get the levy. They don't have the levy refunded, or they don't refund it. They get the price of the market price, which is the price of the highest fossil fuel. Whereas they should be only paying the wind price of 76, or the present price, to account for inflation. So you see the lie that is being told. The levy guarantees the price renewable energy generators get for electricity they produce. No, it doesn't. What guarantees the price is that they got the government to agree to link the price of renewable energy to the highest fuel in the mix. So there's the lie they are telling. And there was a bill put in by the independent TDs. I think Richard O'Donoghue was involved, and that bill was there, and it seems to have died a death. I don't know what happened. He said it in front of the door, and that is the truth. Now, how can such a blatant lie be floating around? Now, the CRU sets the level of the PSO levy, which applies from each October. Right? So it's quite clear that the price of fossil fuel at the moment, and we might check it before I sign off, the price of fossil fuel at the moment is quite high. So why do they need extra? Surely if they're getting the price of the highest fossil fuel, that should do. Because if the price of fossil fuel was halved or went away down, what would they do then? So they set it. That's not disputed. The CRU sets the level of the PSO levy, which applies each October. The Director of External Affairs for Wind Energy Ireland, Justin Moran. Justin, will you meet me publicly with a camera, I wonder? Will he meet me? Justin Moran said, Irish wind and solar farms will pay back to electricity consumers a net of 17 million over 2024-25 PSO period. So why is the PSO giving them 17 million too much and taking back 17 million too little? Oh, what type of a screwed up system is that? Oh, they'll tell you it's post-ante. I studied it. Post-ante and post-ex. You set an amount, and then they say, this is what you'll probably produce. Why don't they just meter them and send them out a cheque for what they produce? I'd be giving them a cheque for what they produce until I get them shut down, and that would be the 76 or whatever increase has been given to deal with inflation. So, are you getting the trend of what I say? If I'm wrong on this, and many people say I'm wrong, will anyone debate this with me? They know it's a complete and utter scam. This is because new renewable energy projects, when prices are high, return in excess over what they're contracted to receive to help the Irish households and businesses. Now look at this. This is because new renewable energy projects, when prices are high, right, return the excess over what they've contracted to receive. Well, they haven't contracted. They have agreed to take the highest price, the market price. They've agreed to take the market price, which is the price of the highest fuel. There may be some figure there about the PSO levy, but the PSO levy is peanuts compared to getting the price of the highest fossil fuel. And if there's a war and the price of fuel goes up, the wind companies will make money. If it's dear enough, they'll make money. Why are they not paid a separate fee? Corruption, that's why. Return excess over what they're contracted to receive to help Irish households and businesses. So having the highest electricity prices in the world, according to them, is helping households and businesses. Did you ever hear such a conspiracy of liars? He said the reason consumers will be paying PSO levy again this year is because the CRU overcharged electricity generators in 2020 and 23, as it had, like many others, anticipated higher wholesale prices. Now, isn't that some ball of baloney? What kind of thinking, or what kind of a system? Imagine if I was buying my goods off the hardware store and the meal store, and this is what I had to do. Post ante, post X, this, that and the other. All done up to make it difficult for anyone to find out what they're doing. So read that again. He said the reason consumers will pay the PSO levy again this year is because the CRU overcharged generators in 2022. In other words, they can't count. As it had, like many others, anticipated higher wholesale prices. Now, you should be able to figure what I'm saying. These crowd are getting the highest wholesale prices. And they thought it'd be higher, and they paid them too much, and it comes back. Surely if I pay too much, surely if I'm paying for my fertilizer and it's 2,600 euros, and I pay a check in, and then I go in for something else and I pay by my credit card, and the girl in the office takes the whole fertilizer out as well, and I discover, oh, my count's are way down. What happened? I go, oh God, she said, I didn't know you paid already by check. What happens? It's refunded. It's either credited for small items to my account, which is grand, or for the huge amount, you get a check back for that amount. This is all plawmoss over nothing, whinging. These crowd were broke in 2019. They were losing money hand over fist. I'll be looking at them again in due course. Audit accounts all say they can't exist without the parent company carrying them, and there's a conspiracy between the government, the utilities like the National Toll Roads, the ESB, SSE Electricity. There's a conspiracy there to buy the wind farms when they're built and never expect the parent company to pay a penny, because if they were to pay the cost to the company that buys them, they'd be stone broke. They wouldn't last. Even the auditors couldn't certify them. Now, he says that needs to be corrected this year, and it is this which is driving the PSO levy back up. 40 euros a year is nothing compared with the thousands poor people are having to pay for this scam, keeping these things up there as ornaments to the guilty conscience of the Green Party. When wholesale prices are high, mostly because of high gas prices, renewable generators, which do not require gas, receive greater revenues. You see there, he's admitting it. For the electricity they sell in the wholesale market, the CRU said. This is the CRU said this now. The other one was the industry, the renewable energy industry. So here is the CRU saying, when wholesale prices are high, mostly because of high gas prices, renewable generators which do not require gas receive greater revenues for electricity to sell in the wholesale market. The Commission for Utilities Regulator said. There's the admission. There is the admission that I'm 100% right. There is the admission. I'll read it once more. When wholesale prices are high, mostly because of high gas prices, renewable generators which do not require gas receive greater revenues for electricity to sell in the wholesale market, the CRU said. There's the admission. They get the same price. They get the price of the highest fuel. If coal was only used 2 tons of it, and coal is 90 million a ton, the renewable generators would get 90 million euros if the two was the same. That is the shameful, corrupt system. If what they earn exceeds their contracted earnings, they return these funds via the regulator. So they pay them out too much, think that the gas price is going to be London, away up high. They pay them out that, and then they have to pay it back. What's wrong with that? Why is the wind energy companies and the solar complaining? You got the money, you pay it back. That's in business all the time. Very often someone owes me money and they'll deduct it off the bill. I've explained that, quite simple. What about this is that they don't understand. They are pulling a scam. That's why. Asked if it had a mistake in its calculations for the PSO levy that will now cost households and businesses, and CRU said that in summer of 2022, after Russia invaded the Ukraine. So here we have the regulator worrying about Russia. It's wind that's blowing in Ireland. Why is it connected with Russia? As part of the PSO process, and given the trajectory of wholesale gas prices, the PSO levy was calculated at expected market price for electricity 2022-2023. In other words, they said it'll probably be a good bit more, so we'll pay you more. Why didn't they wait till it went up? Anyway, what is wrong with them having to refund? This has always had to be done as an estimate as wholesale prices can move up and down during the year in the middle of the PSO periods. It's very simple. You wait till the figures comes in. You might give them a little bit of advance to keep them going, and when you have your figures, you charge them or pay them accordingly. What is rocket science with that? Every company in the world does that. There is no reason why they should be paid in advance at all. That's because the wind industry got round the government way back, even the Greens, and gave them all this largesse. What they're really complaining about here, that they got a big lump of millions more than they were deserved, the gas price fell and now they have to pay it back. So now you understand it. As with all estimates of the PSO levy process, estimates, and as can be seen over the lifetime of the levy, these estimates have been higher or lower than the actual wholesale price during each of these years, which means there has to be a correction each year, the R factor. That's exactly right. That's what I made videos about here. I made videos about this 10 years ago. Why is there an R factor at all? Why do they not just, why do the wind farms not credit the consumer, and then when the figures come in, pay them? This may be negative or positive. It's just a racket. There's no need for this anywhere else. This is just a crowd of idiots making up this, trying to fool the people. Fortunately, for all end customers, market prices were significantly lower in 2022 than has been calculated in the summer of 2022. So 22 and 23. So the winter of 23 has been lower than 2022, which had to be based on that particular volatile period for wholesale gas and electricity prices due to the geopolitical environment. Now, if my battery runs out, folks, this is a very long video. If my battery runs out, I'll have to take up a new. I'll just reload this. So you see now, this madness. The CRU said the charges collected from generators on the basis of the higher price from generators. Yeah. Why were they're paying them out, they're paying generators for electricity, and then there's charges applied to them. What kind of baloney is that? If I buy my fertilizer, I pay for it. Why did they have to pay me back? Oh, what is this about? It's all about a racket that makes neither sense nor reason. Said the charges collected from generators on the basis of the higher price that they thought in the calculate was returned to consumers in 2022-2023. Yeah, there was some returned. Why not just charge them the normal rate to begin with and let the companies carry the cost of rising electricity for the quarter or whatever it is? In the calculation for this PSO period, 2024-2025, it was calculated that generators did not actually make as much from the market in 2022-2023 as had been estimated, the regulators said. Oh, why did you estimate it? Oh, it's going up. Oh, he panicked. Oh, Russia. Oh, jack it up. Ever hear her having a cool head and just taking it easy? This is why there is a correction this year that will see the higher level of support for renewable generators charge required and attributed to the PSO levy in charges to the end electricity user, the CRU said. Now, folks, have you got that? What a load of baloney. Who allowed this system? Huh? They give it and they take it back. And now they have to pay on more. Who is doing these maths? Who is auditing them? What government department is watching them? What happened to the bill to stop this happening? Why are wind energies given the price of fossil fuel? I thought the whole idea was to cut the price of fossil fuel and to have the wind energy doing its own thing. They're bankrupt. If they get all this money, it may bring them up into the black. It may. So I haven't looked at the accounts in the last few years. But I will, and I'll do a program on them. And when I talked about checking their accounts, the industry went bananas, and their online henchmen attacked me. You can't do that. And I did do it. I'm the only one found out all about this. Now, we'll see now what happens as they're brought up into the black. But we also see the cost of electricity, the restaurants closing down. The restaurants are closing down several last week. And no accountability. No one ever asks why this is so. But I know, because I was in with the regulator up in Dublin years ago. And it's because they just give, a big system, ex post and ex ante, and we'll pay you this year. We think the price will go up. We'll give you a bit more. Now just to get that right, they thought the price of gas was going to go up. So they sent out a big check of your money and mine out to the wind generators. And then the price didn't go up as much, and they didn't took it back, and the wind said, you're taking back our money. We got this, we thought it was going up. And now they're saying they're putting it up again. And it'd take an Einstein to figure out the reasons. There is no oversight whatsoever. How is any ordinary family reading that to figure out what's going on? And I hope you will say, folks, that I have added something to it. Have I explained the system before my battery or something runs out? That's a very long video. They get 76 cents in old tests. It's up way up now. It's a lot higher now. Don't hold me on that. If the price of the fuel goes up, any fuel, the wind energy goes up. So if the wind energy is down here, it goes up. If the price of oil falls, it goes down. And if it reaches the floor price, this happens. They make the price on estimates of fuel in advance. Why is that? Why don't they wait to see what happens? Then they send them out a big check out of the PSO levy. Then the next thing is, and that's only a small percentage. Remember, the wind companies still get the total cost of the oil and gas. They're paid direct from the ESB and SSE and all of these and Energia a check for the market price on the day. This PSO is only a portion that the government takes out of your bill to try and prop them up even further. And then there's ex post and ex ante, and when the price is different, they calculate it again in a huge convoluted situation. And this is supposed to be, deregulation is supposed to do good. Have I explained that to you? So, Charlie Wesson, I want to talk to you. All of my agents have been on to him. He runs for cover every time. That article in the Irish Independent, wind energy companies blame regulator for rise in prices as the new figures show bumper profits. It's they that are getting the price of fossil fuel for what's supposed to be a green product. They say they're going to abolish fossil fuel. If they do, how are they going to set their price? There'll be no fossil fuel to set it for. Folks, hopefully I've explained that. This is such a disgusting, corrupt industry run by your government, and you people, some of you, and some of your relations and friends will go out and vote Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, Labour and Sinn Féin. And